Hello dear viewer and welcome back to my 1 million signs per minute playthrough. This episode we will build a base on Aquilo and produce the cryogenic science pack. Before doing so I want to significantly improve the science production on Gleba. Moving forward I want to use the same design principle that I've already used for the rocket fuel production here on Gleba. And that is items that have a very long time before they spoil go on belts. For example jelly nuts or bioflux. Also, if the required throughput is high, I will also use belts, even if the spoilage time is low. The best example for this case is nutrients for the egg production. The belt I'm building right now is for bioflux, for example. Oh, and I only utilize one side of the belt per item. Then I don't have to worry about balancing and the items are automatically ordered by freshness. These two output belts, for example, are for the nutrients. And because throughput is so high, I build a heating tower to remove spoilage on the spot. This might be an exception to the rule. Based on throughput I would ship in nutrients with a bot network, but I mean, the nutrient belt is right there, so why not use it? Okay, here we go, it works. What I don't like about this design is transporting eggs with a bot network. So this is yet another exception to the rule. Throughput is very low, but for safety reasons I want to use belts. The belt will loop around and end at the heating tower, which means if an egg isn't picked up by one of the biochambers, it will be burned. I made one tiny mistake. Can you spot it? Pause the video and identify the problem. You got it. I had no inserter removing spoilage from the bioflux belt. If there's one thing about Gleba that I absolutely despise, then it's working on the outposts. Setting up agricultural towers is just annoying. Let's turn this entire belt into a turbo belt, because why not? Okay, the science production looks very nice. I could just copy paste and double production, but this is sufficient for now. A couple of Tesla turrets for safety, but I don't think they will ever be needed. In the meantime on Norvis, switching research, based on the amount of science packs that are currently available. Moving on to Volcanoes, do you see the artillery turrets? In this playthrough I only killed one demolisher so far, with poison capsules. To expand north I have to get rid of another one. Damn, that was actually easier than expected. The research level for damage and speed is 3. Anyway, now that I utilize artillery on Gleba and Volcanoes, let's also do it on Norvis. First I have to set up the shell production. To make shells I have to import tungsten from Volcanoes. Let's copy paste the Gleba artillery turret and then find the perfect spot on Norvis to build it. Artillery turret range is level 3, which means for this small base I only need 2 turrets in total. Here we go, let's spread some democracy to the local biter population. This is a default settings map, so I don't expect any problems whatsoever when facing the biter counterattacks. Tesla turrets are just crazy, no flamethrowers needed. Okay, before going to Aquilo, let's check if everything is in order. And I found something very inefficient. Still making productivity modules with normal assemblers. Let's use EM plants instead. I'm using rate calculator to see if there are any bottlenecks. The electric engine production needs an upgrade with modules. The purple and golden science production is producing 305 signs per minute. chemical science is only at 260, but this can easily be fixed by using a speed module for the beacons. Similarly, I am underproducing liquid iron. Now that the base is really well secured with artillery and Tesla turrets, I can slowly get rid of the efficiency modules and increase speed or productivity instead. Seems like the foundries are emptying both red belts. Let's upgrade to turbo belts. Last but not least, making sure that the red and green science production is also overproducing. Again, I want to reach 300 science per minute. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's time. We have to build an Aquilo spaceship. The best planet to make new ships is Volcanoes, where producing foundations is basically free. And okay, stop laughing. This is not the Aquilo spaceship, I promise. But I like to start every new space platform with my boxcar blueprint, because it can make ammo and defend itself, and even fly to other planets like Norvis to pick up other items like fuel cells. And fuel cells are absolutely required to build this spaceship, because it relies on a nuclear reactor to make electricity. I built this ship specifically for this playthrough. I noticed that a lot of players are using and relying on my spaceship designs. So why not make and provide more blueprints going forward? I am dropping down to Fulgora to get an upgrade for my engineer. A very important upgrade, mech armor. I also have to make sure that Fulgora is suited to be the donor planet for Aquilo. Aquilo has no basic resources, and in my opinion, Fulgora is a perfect candidate, because first of all, it has a direct connection to Aquilo. We need holmium anyway, and all of the items that are in high demand on Aquilo can be made very easily here on Fulgora, like for example concrete or rocket parts. Okay, let's see if we can make it to Aquilo without damaging the spaceship. But as you probably already know, I always stress test my spaceships. This spaceship and all blueprints used in this playthrough are available for Patreon supporters. That's Patreon/Avadi. Oh, and you can also download the save games of this run if you are a rare supporter. We made it, the beautiful cold planet Aquilo. Bots are really inefficient on this planet, but I'm going to use them anyway to get rid of these ice rocks. I've seen a lot of players struggle on this planet. I think the most important thing to master Aquilo is to start with a proper foundational base. This foundation has to provide unlimited amounts of electricity, heat and ice. This very simple blueprint will get the job done. There's a single solar panel to provide power, and I'm using some rocket fuel from Fulgora to provide initial heat. Notice the recycler in the middle. It's very important to get rid of excess ice. Every time you produce 2 items at once, you have to make sure that you are not overproducing one of the items, else the machine will come to a full stop. Because I use only one solar panel, this will take quite a while. Take a look at the placement of the substation in the top right corner. I made it so that the solar panel exclusively provides power to the chemical plant, responsible for the ammonia separation. Now only the ice melting has power. You can also skip the first step with the ice in your inventory. Now that the heating tower energy production is up and running, I can connect the substations normally. This setup will never run out of electricity or heat. And as you can see, I'm simply burning solid fuel. You don't have to make rocket fuel for this foundational base. There's one piece of the puzzle missing though. To expand on Aquilo we need ice. To make it work I have to move the recycler to the right. For this Aquilo base I will use the 18x18 tile electrical grid from Novus Gleba and Volcanoes. It's the exact same grid, the only difference we need heat pipes of course. Okay, that's the foundational starter base. Let's add another heat exchanger and 2 additional turbines. To craft items I can use assemblers furnaces or EM plants and build them adjacent to the heat pipes. Next up I'm going to use my mole blueprints to automate the production of heat pipes and the cryogenic plant. Now we have everything we need to build the actual Aquilo base. Cutting the next part was an absolute nightmare, but I tried my best. Building an Aquilo base works best in remote view. Seriously, I can't stress this enough. Treat this process as if you were in the sandbox mode. And then when you're done, let the bots build it all automatically. See how I'm flying around building pipes? Big mistake. Just use remote view. It's so much more powerful. To design this base, I start with the electrical grid, and I think in reverse, which is why I started with the science pack on the right side. Then I reserved space for fluoroketone, hot and cold, then lithium, solid fuel, and now the ammonia separation. I'm going to use the horizontal space between the substations to build something similar to a main bus. Horizontal heat pipes with 2 tiles in between. The sub-factories of course also need heat pipes. The distance between the machines and the pipes is 2 tiles again. Working on the fluid outposts might seem like a struggle, but honestly, I enjoy to find creative solutions in order to route the heat and fluid pipes in a creative way. Notice the one heat exchanger directly on the main bus. It will simply burn solid fuel and will provide heat for this part of the base. You never have enough ice on this planet, which is why I add production near the ammonia separation sub-factory. And if you've seen my how to void fluids video, you will recognize this pattern. I'm using a storage tank, pump and circuit logic to get rid of excess ammonia. What's missing to produce lithium? Well, a lithium brine outpost. Later on, I will probably use trains on Aquilo, but for now, a very long pipe will suffice. This planet is absolutely beautiful and I love building on it. There we go, the lithium production is up and running. The next outpost up north, this time for fluorine. To make sure that there will be enough heat, I built an additional heating tower. This one will be supplied by the bot network. Nice, I can already see some hot fluoroketone. This liquid has to be cooled down to use it for the science pack production. And before you write a comment, I'm aware that I'm completely overproducing here. The science packs need to find a way to the rocket silos on the right. And of course I need heat. Aquilo can be quite a mess sometimes. In order to launch rockets, we have to ship in processing units and low density structures from other planets. Rocket fuel, on the other hand, can be made here on Aquilo. That's why I built this small sub-factory. Rocket fuel can also be picked up by bots to supply far-away heating towers, like the one we build up north. I want to use as much productivity modules as possible for the science production. To counteract the speed penalty and electricity consumption, using beacons is very beneficial. Because I don't have fusion power yet, I have to build an additional power plant. 1 heating tower and 4 heat exchangers will provide 40 megawatts. Finally, a sub-factory for lithium plates. The last ingredient missing to start the science pack production. This one is very simple, it's just an array of furnaces. You might think that the rocket fuel sub-factory is too small, but it's not. There's rocket fuel productivity research, and with the cryogenic science pack we will also be able to increase the productivity of rocket launches. The cryogenic science pack production is up and running. But I'm not satisfied with the science per minute rate. So let's try to double production. The placement of the fluoroketone sub-factory was weird anyway. Let's move it out of the way. Now that there's free space on top, I can just copy-paste the cryogenic science sub-factory. Okay, I'm very satisfied with the result. I think it looks beautiful. What do you think? Is this a proper starter base here on Aquilo? I already mentioned it before, but if you are a rare supporter on Patreon, you can download the space and take a look at it yourself. What's left to do? Well, there's still a rocket silo missing and I have to set up the transportation of the cryogenic science pack to Norwis. $1,000 science packs. I can't wait to increase the rocket part productivity research. Fortunately, there's still enough space to just output the science pack to a belt from the main hub. There's one huge problem though. Take a look at the energy consumption and production. I could build more power plants with heating towers, but we are on Aquilo, so it makes sense to work on quantum processors next. The goal will be to unlock fusion power. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Then you won't miss the next episode, in which we will go to the edge of the solar system and build a spaceship to farm Promethium science. I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.